Welcome to Off the Hanger, the fashion podcast where we delve deep into our guests' wardrobes, finding out their favourite fashion pieces and the stories behind them. This week's guest is writer and journalist Mia Cavan. I hope you enjoy this episode. Mia, morning. Thank you so much for joining us on Off the Hanger. It is lovely to see you in the glorious sunshine and blue sky, I might add. It feels like it's been an eternity coming, waiting for the summer.
100%.
Now, you're a journalist and a writer and a book lover, and I'm really interested to find out if those kind of influences have crept into your wardrobe.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of it is very heavily inspired by, I don't know, like people I look up to, like Wes Anderson was such a big inspiration for me in my film degree and my stories that I write and read. So like colors are so important to my wardrobe. So yeah, I think so, but not in like a typical way. It's sort of very maximalist, I guess.
You're not running around dressed like Emily Bronte?
No, I wish.
It's not really appropriate. Yeah, same. We went a couple of years ago to Bridgerton Secret Cinema, and just for one night to dress up like Bridgerton, it was amazing.
Oh my gosh, I'm jealous. That sounds amazing.
Not very appropriate for everyday life, but you know, for that one occasion, it was really fun.
Yeah.
And did you love fashion as a child?
I did. I was wearing anything and everything. I was apparently, according to my mum, like out of me and my sister, I was the person who was happy to wear literally anything. And she would dress me up like a doll and like I would love it. I was never picky, but I kind of heavily looked at, again, characters. Like I think my earliest memories of like dressing up, like Stephanie from Lazy Town and Hannah Montana was such a big inspiration as a kid. I would come home and my mum's put like Hannah Montana clothes on my bed and I would just be the happiest child ever. I would wear wigs, I would go all out. Like it was something really important to me to like dress up and escape through that. And I remember once I was watching High School Musical and I physically got all the clothes from my wardrobe, put them on the sofa, and at each scene, I would put on a new outfit and pretend I was there and like try and link my outfit to what was on TV. And I just literally loved feeling, I think, a part of something bigger than me through clothes.
That's amazing. And it is that thing of kind of association, feeling like you're part of it, but also recognizing that you can change who you are and how you feel about yourself by the different things that we wear.
Yeah, exactly. I so badly wanted to be Hannah Montana. I so badly wanted to be in High School Musical, and that was my way of like doing that as a kid.
And what's the oldest thing you've got in your wardrobe?
It's so like uninteresting, but all my pajamas are really old. So I've basically not grown since I was like 13. And I can still wear all the pajamas I had as a kid. As a baby, I had this, obviously at the time when I was a baby, it was massive t-shirt, and it was the Sex Pistols t-shirt my parents got me, and now it's a tank top and it still fits me perfectly. So I still wear all of those. So yeah, pajamas, that's the most exciting thing.
Though they can just last forever, because other than, you know, potentially your partner or your like housemate or flatmate or whatever, who is seeing you in them, it's absolutely fine. Although I do have to say, I really enjoy a kind of new nightwear set. Oh, yeah. I feel like I am fully adulting when I'm in matching, nice sort of sleepwear.
Same, 100%.
Now, what's the piece in your wardrobe that gets the most compliments?
I've actually got it with me. I'll grab that for you. I love this piece so much. It is this bag from Fifth House Muse. I got it last year, early last year, I think. And every time I wear it, someone's like, "Oh my God, that bag is amazing. Is that lobsters on your bag?" And I go, "Yes, it is." And yeah, it's so gorgeous.
It's amazing. And I think lobsters are an underrated print. I think we need more lobsters.
Yeah.
With a lot of flowers and not a lot of lobsters. I think lobsters definitely can be embraced a little bit more. I think they're great.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you somebody who likes to splurge when it comes to fashion, or are you a little bit more thrifty?
Both. Can I say both? I think like I'm usually quite like restrained. Like I'm quite good with money. And then once I buy one thing, that leads into 5 things. And then it just keeps going until I'm like, this literally needs to stop. And then it's kind of like a cycle like that. So like recently I bought loads of jewelry and then I was like, hey, great, like I don't need to buy any more jewelry. And I just kept buying more jewelry for no reason. I was like, okay, I need to put a stop to this. This is getting bad. So I'm like, I'd say like 4 times a year I like splurge quite a bit. And then like the rest of the year I'm quite decent with keeping my money in my pocket.
And what's the most expensive piece that you own?
This one over here. This is a mini bag from a brand called Haru. And I'm about to sound like a Nepo baby, but my godmother in America basically does their PR and so gets all their stuff for free. And she gave this to me last year as a birthday present. But they are a massive, massive brand. This is like £200 and it only fits a phone. Nothing else fits inside. I think I've got a pad in there and that's about it. And they are a massive brand in terms of like they only really work with celebrities and things like that. But it's because they are all sustainable. So everything they create is like fake fur, fake leather, that kind of stuff. So yeah, they're a high fashion brand, which is why it's so expensive. And definitely my most expensive piece in terms of what you get. Like I think I've spent more money on clothes, but they've been like several pieces from one place, or they've been like one-offs that you'd never get anywhere else. So like things that have a bit more, I guess, value. But for one singular tiny piece, this is definitely the most expensive I have.
I love the mint green and the faux fur and the chunky chain on the front. And yes, it's small and compact, but it's mighty. That is going to just look amazing with an outfit. That's the kind of cherry on the top of an outfit.
Exactly. It's stunning. And I do use it. So, you know, it's so worth it.
Now, you mentioned that you've been on a bit of a jewellery binge recently. What is the newest piece in your wardrobe?
It is yet to arrive, but basically I have wanted to buy from this jewelry store it's by a girl called Olivia Wednesday, or Livia Wednesday without an O. And she's basically closing up shop, and I've been wanting to buy from her for years. So I bought 2 mini earrings from her, and I'll send photos to you, but they are basically like handcrafted, like almost like Renaissance jewelry. It's so beautiful, so like one of a kind, which is something I absolutely love. I did also buy the rings that I have on now recently because I only had silver rings and I realized that silver is just not my color. So I bought this snake ring, which I've wanted for ages, and this octopus ring from just a random market in Shoreditch because I was trying to find something that also wouldn't turn my fingers green. Yeah, those are my newest pieces.
The struggle is real when it comes to costume jewellery. I love a good piece of costume jewellery, but I am forever the one where like my fingers gone green or my ears or like that just kind of slight green shade around your neck. And I'm like, I really need to take this off. And literally, I think they're fine if you just wear them for like one occasion and then you take it off afterwards. But that's not how I wear jewellery. I fall in love with something. That's it. I fall in love with it and I just want to keep it on in the shower, doing the dishes, whatever it is. I just don't want to take that off. And so I'm exactly the same. I need to make sure it's pieces that are not going to then go great.
Yeah, it's such a pain, but worth buying it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think sometimes it's because the more interesting and kind of unique pieces and more fashion-led pieces, if you were to buy them in genuine metals that weren't going to go green, they would be so expensive.
Oh yeah, so expensive.
Like prohibitively so expensive. So I think, oh, well, I'm just going to have to suck it up and just not wear this all the time. I have to remember to take it off.
Yeah, exactly. It's about restraint, isn't it?
And are you quite sentimental about the pieces in your wardrobe? Do you have a most sentimental piece?
I think I'm sentimental in the sense of like those pajamas I was talking about. I don't want to get rid of them. Like they're comfort, you know, even though they're really ugly. and I've had them since I was a kid. I do have an attachment to most of my wardrobe, but I'm also really good at being like, you know what, this is not my style anymore. Let me get rid of this, even if I really liked it at some point and wore it a lot. But I'd say like the most sentimental piece is like my boyfriend's hoodie, just because we're long distance, so it reminds me of him, and that's, yeah, I think it's just because it's attached to a person. I don't think in general I have like a sentimental piece of clothing unless it is attached to a person. Like my mum, like she hands me down stuff all the time, and my dad too. So I think those pieces are always going to be the most sentimental to me.
I saw a brilliant story the other day from Fern Brady, the comedian. I don't know if you've seen this. And she was wearing her boyfriend's hoodie, and she'd been wearing it all around the house all week, and they had the builders in. And at the end of the week, she'd mentioned to her boyfriend about his hoodie that she'd been wearing. And he said, "That's not my hoodie, that's the builder's hoodie." And she'd been wearing the builder's hoodie in front of the builder all week, and he hadn't said anything.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I would just never show my face again.
I would die. I would pay them an excessive amount of money and just ask them to leave.
Yeah.
Like, "I'm so sorry. By the way, I'm also keeping your hoodie." It's just like, talk about a fashion faux pas. I was like, that is fabulous. Luckily, my husband is a giant, so I don't wear any of his hoodies because literally they would be to my ankles. So I'm never going to fall, foul of that kind of pitfall. But it just really made me chuckle, the idea that she'd been wearing the builder's hoodie in front of the builder.
So funny. I can't. That's brilliant. I love that.
What's the piece in your wardrobe you would say most sums you up?
I love talking about this piece. I will send you a million pictures of it. It is just beautiful. I think it was over a year ago now. I saw this video of this corset, and it was basically like, it's a dress, but it doesn't have a top. So it's just a corset dress basically. And it's this, at the time she was like 16, but she had her own business and she hand makes all of her corsets and dresses. I was like, this is just insane that someone this age has this talent and can do something like this at that age. Fine, I had some talent when I was 16, but I didn't do anything with it. And the fact that I was like, I have to support this young girl. And she lives in Australia. That's where all the clothes are made. And it is just the best corset I have ever bought. And I've had quite a few. And it just perfectly supports me. It like completely shapes my body. It is just, every time I wear it, I get compliments. I'm so obsessed with it. It is kind of like the way that the end of it is kind of made is like proper. It's almost like a period piece. It's like a proper corset dress and not just a corset and a dress, if that makes sense. It's like properly put together. And it's the pattern is like newspaper. So again, like that writer in me was so obsessed that I had like newspaper all over me basically. But yeah, it's my absolute favorite piece. And every time I wear it, people love it and I love it. So, and I supported a young girl in like pursuing her dreams. So that was like really important to me as well.
That's incredible. That is the best of both worlds. You're getting a beautifully made piece that sums you up, but then also supporting a small business and honestly, an overachiever. 16.
I know.
16, I was drunk in a field. I was not achieving anything.
I was going to say I was stuck in a book, but I'm still there, so nothing's changed. So yeah, 16 is just, I think she's like 18 now or something, 17, 18 now. But either way, just so incredible. And I just had to do it.
And I actually think as much as we kind of poo-poo social media and, slag it off, I think a lot of these people, the reason that they are able to do these things is because they've learned on social media. They've learned by watching videos and YouTube and things, but then their business has been able to grow and they've been able to actually create a business because of social media. And I think as much as we all slag it off and go, oh my God, it's all terrible, all our mental health is ruined because of it, it does have its upsides as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's my job. I can't talk shit about it. And if I try, I always kind of naturally come to a positive about it because it is my career. And I do think there's like a really big problem with overconsumption and fast fashion. But I think if you're on the right side of social media, I mean, it takes a while to train the algorithm. But once you do and you are on the right side of social media, you find those special little trinkets of like handmade jewelry, handmade clothes, small businesses, being able to support young women, girls really, not even women yet. And I just think like there's nothing better that can come out of social media, you know, out of those kind of things. Yeah, I have a really big appreciation for social media. At the end of the day, I definitely complain about it, but at the end of the day, it's definitely got its pros, and I have to remember that as it's my career. Otherwise, I'll go insane. So, yeah.
And I think actually throughout time, it's been in all mediums. Social media is not the worst. If you look at like television and radio and music videos and writing and books and literacy, throughout all of these things, there's always going to be those negative, dark corners filled with hateful people.
Yeah.
But then there's always going to be that beauty and that light and that creativity that's being expressed as well. So I think it's very easy for people to just go, oh, social media, it's all terrible. It's like, well, no, not really. It's balance.
Yeah.
You've just got to try and find the good bits and the bits that you want to be involved with.
Exactly. I think like with social media, what you see is up to you. I know that's like not everyone would agree with that, but again, if you train an algorithm correctly and put time into like making sure that you don't see the things that you don't want to see and don't want to support, it's so possible to shift your consumption and to shift your mindset and the content that you see and how that affects you. And I mean, 90% of the time when I'm scrolling, I don't feel negative. I don't feel like I'm doom scrolling, even though I am, because I'm watching things that I know that I enjoy and might even inspire me and might lead me to go and buy some handmade jewelry or something, you know? So it's never, I mean, it is sometimes, but 90% of the time, it's not a negative thing for me. And I think everyone should get to that point, really.
Now, would you like to join my club of disasters? I regularly have fashion faux pas and wardrobe malfunctions, predominantly the wardrobe malfunctions, to the point that today I'm really glad that you can only see me from here upwards because I had some breakfast and I've spilt it down the bottom of my dress. So I'm keeping that fully out of shot. Lovely. So do you have a story that you would like to share to be initiated into my club?
Sure. I mean, honestly, this morning I had one. I have bought this new, you know, those like trending backless tops. They are absolutely stunning. And I was so excited to buy this new one. My color is white. Like I just really suit white and I love like off-white. It's just my favorite color. So of course I had to buy it in white. And this morning I got out the shower, put it on, didn't realize or remember really that I had popped a spot on my chest. And it was tiny, but it bled through the white top. And yeah, and I fully went out the house to the cafe that I was going to with it on whilst it was bleeding. And I was like, this is great. It's like, this is just, of course it's with the white top on. Of course it's my new top that I've just bought. And I think it's like my second time in a week that I've had it that I've got something on it. So, you know, that's just so me. It's so me. It's always something like that. Always something white on, always something stained. Usually blood because, you know, being a woman, it's just hard. It's hard. So
whenever I see anybody wearing head to toe white, I always just think, how are you doing that?
I know.
This is not something that I can do because I'm just naturally like muck is just drawn to me. And also I have a child and I have a dog and they don't help the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't even blame them fully. Predominantly it is just me. But I'm like, I look at these ladies, Ken, and these women wearing all white or all really pale colour, and I'm like, that looks gorgeous. I can't do that, but I applaud you for doing it.
Yeah, I mean, even when I'm not wearing white, I always manage to spill something. I think like when I was initially thinking about this question, like what came to mind was just like the typical girlhood experience of like being on your period and like leaking through your jeans or something. And like that's happened to me countless times because I have endometriosis and polycystic ovaries. And also, like, when you're at school and it's like no one can see because you've like tied up like a top around it or something, but it's just the most uncomfortable experience and you feel like just gross, but it's also such a universal experience. So it's like that was initially what came to mind, and then I remembered what happened this morning.
I think it's a really important thing to talk about, though, because people don't, and we all have this shame about it, and we really shouldn't, because you're right. It's a universal experience. It happens to us all. You know, I'm 42 this year, and it still happens to me. I've still not got a handle of this. I've still not got to a point of adulting where I go, that never happens to me. No, it still happens to me. I still get caught up. These things still will happen. And I think we have to normalize it a little bit more and talk about it and go, yeah, it's a really shitty thing that happens to us, but we don't need to be embarrassed about it. It's not something that, you know, is our fault. It's not our doing. It just happens. And we should all just be a bit more accepting of that. And if you do see someone that's having that nightmare, you don't judge them. You just go, do you want, like, can I help you in any way? Have you got something to tie around your waist? Have you, you know, got tampons or pads or whatever it is that you need?
Yeah, exactly. And I've also just been reading a book called The Visibility Trap, which is about social media and just like how being seen in itself is quite a scary thing. And she spoke about Rupika's viral photo of where she was like bleeding through her tracksuit bottoms when it threw like the internet into a literal like whirlpool of hate and love in some areas, but mostly hate. And it's just baffling because every girl who saw that was like, yep, that's happened to me.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yep, 100%. Know what that feels like. It's accurate. It's not something that we should be like, oh God, like so embarrassing. Like this never happens. It happens. And all of us, it happens too. So I think, yeah, it is something, you're right, that we definitely need to talk about more.
Yeah. And I think also it's something, for me, it's the measure of a man, how they react to these things. And like my husband now, if I said to him, I need Tampax, he would know where to go, what to buy, which ones I exactly want, and would bring them back. It would be fine. There would be no like ick about it. There would be no embarrassment. He would just go and do the things, like, you know. And I know obviously not everybody's partner is a man. There's, you know, lots of different relationships out there, but particularly for men in general, that actually just accept that it's not a scary thing. Yeah, it's not something that happens to you, but it happens to us every single month. So just deal with it and like, don't be weird about it, because you being weird about it is what then makes us feel embarrassed and shame, and that's not cool. You just need to be cool about it. Like, it's a huge thing.
100%. I agree. 100%.
Yeah. Right, moving on. What are your favourite shoes?
I wish I could bring these out to you, and I'm so mad because I walked in them the other day, and before I left the house, my mum was like, oh, make sure you don't need to reheal them anytime soon. And I was like, they're nowhere near needing rehealing. Like, they're perfect. I've had them for years. Came home and the heel had come off. So she had like fully manifested that for me, and I was so annoyed.
She fully cheated you.
Yeah, I literally I gave her the evils when I came home, and I was like, I'm mad at you now. It is the perfect pair of cowboy boots, and they are Italian made, and they are like authentic cowboy boots, and I thrifted them for about £60. They were 70 and they just gave it to me for 60. I don't know why, from a shop called Pick and Wait in Covent Garden, which I go to all the time. And I was desperately trying to look for cowboy boots at that time because I just love them, and I couldn't find any that one that I really liked or two that were my size because I have really small feet. And I saw this perfect pair and I was like, if this is my size, it's a sign and I have to buy this. Put them on, they were perfect. I was like, okay, perfect, I'm going to buy them. And I just love them, and I've always gotten compliments on them, especially from men. Don't know why. They really like it. But they make like a perfect like heel sound when I walk, and it's like not uncomfortable like other heels to like walk in. And so yeah, I'm rehealing them. They're absolutely fine. They're going to make it through. They're in surgery. and the survival rate is 100%. I just really miss them right now. And best purchase ever. And I will wear them until they die. So yeah, those are my favorite shoes. I have a million photos in them, so I'll send them all over. But they are just absolutely stunning.
They sound epic. And they were your destiny. To find something, the perfect pair in your size is, it's like everything comes together in the universe and the rays just shine down on you.
When it was in a thrift store and it was like in a little corner, so it was the only pair, and I was like, I cannot go home without these. These are mine. They have to be mine.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait to see them. Now, if you could have anything, any dream fashion item, irrespective of how much it costs or how practical it is or how you would come about owning this thing, what would you have?
This is a really hard question because my Pinterest board is like massive and so long. But I think the number one kind of pieces up there are all Mirror Palais, the label. Just, I think they're so well crafted. It's a high fashion label, so every piece is really like has great quality. But I also think the mission of it is beautiful. It's like femininity for women and like helping them, even though it's created by a man, which is crazy, but it's like the first man who actually understands what women want in fashion. And just everything created is just beautiful. It's almost heavenly and so expensive. I wish I could buy everything that he makes, but every time I see a piece, it's what I want. I need them. I want them. They need to be in my closet. I would wear them to Sainsbury's. I literally anywhere, anytime, any place. Even if it's December and it's snowing, I would wear that see-through dress. I would wear it all the time. So yeah, definitely Mirror Palais has been up there. And also there's something else I was thinking about. I can't remember what it is now. Another label that I love Loewe. I mean, their stuff is so weird. I don't know how I'd wear it, but I love them. Oh, and that was it. Miu Miu. Miu Miu heels, Miu Miu glasses. Again, so expensive. But I just feel like these pieces by these high fashion labels these days, at least the ones that I've mentioned, come across as staples. So you can literally wear them with anything. And that's what I like about it, is that 1, yes, it's good quality. 2, yes, it's a high fashion label. But 3, it's also like, I don't need a special occasion to wear this. I can wear this anywhere. I can do anything with it. I can style it in any way. So those are like my dream pieces. If my boyfriend came to me and was like, I'm going to buy you anything for your birthday, please buy me some Miu Miu heels or glasses. Thank you very much. That was what I'd say. Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
And to finish with, do you have a piece of fashion advice that you would have given to your younger self?
Oh, yes. Wear what you want. Like, seriously, I think I had like such a shift in fashion when I was, I think, what age was I? 16 going on 17, as most kids do, because I was going from school where I was wearing uniform to sixth form where I was not wearing uniform. I was like, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was so confused. As much as I have always loved fashion, I was baffled of what to do. And it got to the point where I hated everything I was wearing. I was at a stage where I couldn't financially buy anything really. And I just started to go to school in my pajamas. And I loved it. It was brilliant. It was so good. And people loved it. I remember wearing like my pajama leggings once, and a friend of mine, well, we were friends. We weren't close friends, but she just randomly turned to me and she was like, "You have an amazing ass." And I was like, "Thank you." I was like, I'm literally in my pajamas and you're giving me the best compliment ever. So I think like once I got the confidence to kind of literally wear whatever, I got to the point where I was like, oh, this is great. This is really freeing feeling. And I think after that, I really easily grew into, okay, what do I like? Because now that I don't care what I look like, I can care about, what I actually want instead of what are other people wearing? What should I wear? What's appropriate? And I don't think people would say pajamas are appropriate for school, but I still got away with it. So I think, just not worrying about what's appropriate. because I never really worried about what people thought, but it was more about, and I wouldn't even say fitting in, I just think it was about not crossing boundaries and lines, and I didn't like the idea of doing that at the time because I was so young and you're always told not to do that. And then I wore pajamas and I was like, I can do that. That's great. I can do that. That's fine. And yeah, ever since I've just been wearing whatever, it really helped me. I don't think I have one style, and I think it's because of that. I have like a million aesthetics, styles, niches, colors, things I love. One day I'm wearing all white, like I said, my wardrobe is majority white, and then the next day I'm wearing massive goth heels with a long pink leather jacket. It's freeing to not wear what you think is appropriate. So I think that's the best piece of advice I could give to anyone, let alone little me. I think little me wouldn't have cared anyway. She used to sing in front of like old grannies at bus stops, so I don't think she really worried about that in like a lazy town wig. So she was way ahead of 16-year-old me. But yeah, I guess 16-year-old me, if I could say it's 16-year-old me, I would do that.
That's incredible advice. And I think you're completely right. We're different people every day. Yeah. And so we shouldn't have this one kind of aesthetic. We should just be able to be free and embrace whatever it is that we want to wear that day, whether it's cool, whether it's weird, whether it's sexy, whether it's scruffy, whatever it is. Just, that's who we feel we are in that moment. We should just embrace that entirely.
Exactly. I completely agree.
Well, thank you so much for being a guest. You've been fabulous.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you did, please remember to follow or subscribe wherever you listen or watch this podcast.